Hello everybody, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the treasure spawn they thought they were slick with, but they really weren't. Anyways, yeah, like, this is apparently the Merry Christmas spawn. I don't believe it whatsoever, but they do have, like, the Merry Christmas on top of it, so I'm assuming this is what they meant. And there's really almost nothing really special about the spawn whatsoever. In fact, they've already done treasure spawns like these a couple times before Merry Christmas. So honestly, A-Team, it's not Merry Christmas spawn like whatsoever. There's nothing really exclusive about it. I mean, it's kind of exclusive, but like, it's only for the event that just came out. They have the Hellfire Ruby Dragon event out right now. As you can see, the special rules right here. So when I go into this video, you know why that they are what they are, and pretty much why they have what they have in the treasure spawn and what's so not. So yeah. Anyways, moving on from there, let's actually talk about the gear before I talk about the treasure spawn. Okay, so we got the Mistborn Goddess Sutheria. I think I said that right. Sutheria. I'm not exactly sure if I said that right or not. But anyways, I actually do like the concept of this monster, regardless of this not actually looking like a monster, but more like a freaking human. I can't figure out what she's wearing on her head, though. I think that's like a wooden helm garment or something like that. I have really no clue, to be really honest. But anyways, moving on from there, Monster of the Mist. This ability is exclusive, well, not exclusively, but way like driven and completely orientated around the event. But what about out of the event? Would this like monster be good like out of the event? My answer to that is yes. But honestly, if you use this out of the event, I would recommend this for the tanky classes. I wouldn't really recommend this for the DPS classes. And I'll talk about that in a second. But the reason I would say this monster is useful out of the event is we all know when it comes to like end game missions and really harder missions, everybody's going to be stacking up their elemental defenses if possible, and if not, even if so, to be fairly honest, people are going to be using heroes so they don't have to deal with any of the stupid status alignments, debuffs, or anything, and they have a constant buff on them at all times. Or they're going to be casting Blessing if anything, and so they don't have to deal with any stupid status alignments, 24/7, or any of that funky jazz or nasty junk. So with that being said, Hero has a recovery reduction of 70% on its own. This monster right here instead boosts the HP recovery effects of all allies by 50% for 90 seconds. So it pretty much takes away almost all of the recovery effect reduction that Hero would give by 50%. So 20% recovery reduction is left instead from Hero if you manage to pop this monster. So that's why this monster is pretty good, because you're going to see a lot of people with Hero. Like, Hero is going to be like used way more than half the time by the whole team. So like, eventually, I'm not going to say all at one, but like eventually it's going to be used by the whole team for the mission. So using a monster like this can be very essential for that, because you're going to be seeing a lot of people with Hero or casting Hero with their monsters end game. It's going to happen. And on top of it, it holds the board down by increasing the usage gains of all allies by 2 for 60 seconds. So that is very useful alone, because Unison makes the world go round. The quicker you can get your Unison, the more safer your team will be overall, regardless of anything, period. So that is very, very nice. Now this one's kind of sad for the caster, but this is beneficial to everybody that's not the caster. Recovers 30 costs for all allies excluding yourself. Cost recovery and usage gains are really nice buffs to have. As you have more cost, you're able to use more moves. As you're able to use more moves, you're able to get more Unison gauge. So on top of the gains, it gives you a little bit of cost to help with those gains and help make those games really, really shine and really, really grow and really, really perk up, so that way you can use your next Unison pretty dang quickly. And this is where I would say this is more for tank characters than actually like DPS characters. It casts Blessing. Recovers 50 cost, increases back speed HP by 100. Sorry, I cannot speak there. Nullifies status alignments and usage gauge reduction effects. Reduces cooldown times by 50%. Recovers 20% of your max HP by 5 seconds on your character for 60 seconds. So pretty much how that works out is, as you heard me right, that's pretty much all like tanky buffs. That's pretty good buffs, but that's way more of like the tank type idea than the actual hero type idea, that these can't stack on top of each other, so that's very, very neat. But like, they don't have any hero or blessing monsters that cast it on all allies or more than just yourself, so it's going to be kind of hard to stack these on top of each other. But anyways, moving on from there, yeah, blessing increases max HP by 100. It recovers 50% of your max HP for every 5 seconds and all that funky jazz. This is a lot more, like way more of a actual like tanky buff. This is more for tanks, people who could survive long, clerics, rooks, sub soldiers, all that type of funky jazz. It's more for them because that's what they're more orientated around. While DPS is way more orientated around hero. Hero is a lot more of a DPS buff, so that's where you really want to go, and that's why I say this is more of like a tanky type monster for, well, not a tanky type monster, but a monster for tanky people to use rather than a monster for everybody to use because of the blessing. Maybe you might want to use this on your DPS depending if you really have trouble staying alive or not, but remember, you're going to be taking debuffs unlike hero, so keep that in mind as well. So I really recommend it for tanks out of the event. I wouldn't really recommend it for DPS, like I've said 1,000 times, just to overall really talk about that. Okay, so we got the weapons and armor down here. Nice thing about the weapons is they have an attack cost effect skill, so as soon as you enter the mission, this will activate right away, and it will be activated 100% throughout the mission regardless. Don't matter, none of that funky jazz. Now you can only stack up to 2 of these, so keep these in mind. 2 attack constant effects can only be stacked, so you can't add any more than 2 to be fairly honest. But right here, this is a pretty nice effect. Massively increases physical and magical damage when using an ability, so you don't have to worry about it proccing or any of that funky jazz. It's just going to be activated as soon as you start. Pretty nice. They do have these on armors before. This is like the second set I've ever seen them even have these on, period. They have these on armor, so it's a lot more customizable now. You could choose between weapons and armors, whether you want it on those. The armors are going to be kind of hard to grab though, because they're all 31 cost. I hope they bring them back in some type of spawn or something. Not exactly something that would get in the way of good gear, but more like a treasure spawn for like, what, 1k medals, because that'd be super useful and super helpful. And what's so not, and they have a heal up too, increases massively increased amount of HP recovered when using a healing ability. As soon as you enter, that will go off as well. And then we got the armor down here. This armor can be used out of the event too, but as you can see right here, increases the amount of HP recovered during a battle. This is going to be good for the event because the event's going to take away HP recovery. It's going to reduce it pretty much. It's not going to take it away. It's going to reduce it. Let me rephrase myself. And pretty much what this gear does is try to reverse the whole reduction concept. This can be used out of it, like I said, because it does this, and we all know that you're going to be probably using hero if you deal with another player versus enemy event that's late end game type deal. So when it comes to using hero, this is going to be pretty dang helpful for you because you're going to be able to recover more HP, and if you're dealing with a really tough enemy that really knocks you down, even with hero, this will help the cleric heal you even more, or heal more of your HP, so that way they can keep you alive for a little longer. So that's why this is very useful. Now when it comes to the treasure medals in the spawn, they do offer a little more than usual, but I'm not exactly sure if this is going to be a good thing or not, especially with the 600 to 1000. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. That actually was not clever at all, A-team. Maybe for some people they can honestly prospect the crap out of the spawn, but I'm not exactly sure. I don't do treasure spawns awfully too much anymore. I tried them a couple times, they're just not for me. Maybe I might be able to do this one. I'm not exactly sure. I'm probably not going to be able to do this one, to be fairly honest, but maybe. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, the default treasure medals that you actually obtain in the jackpot is 700. This one is 600 at its lowest. It can be offered up to 1000, which is pretty nice, but 600 at its lowest. So it's going to be 100 if you manage to get 600, that is 100 lower than it usually is, and that concept is kind of completely stupid to me, to be fairly honest, and I don't like it at all. Now they do offer droplets of ether and awakening orbs. That's really freaking nice because they're not easy to obtain. I think they've been doing this for a while, and I think this is just going to be something they do from now on. But yeah, that's pretty nice. I really like that concept and idea. Cost 27 or higher SSR gear is finally now a part of it instead of stupid cost 24 or higher. They got the treasure medals 500 and 300 you could earn from the side chest, so that's a total of 700 you could earn from the side chest plus whatever they have in the jackpot. And each time you spawn you get 50 to 200, so it's not exactly a bad amount of medals. Again, you could actually you could tame a little more than you usually would and what's so not. And within here they offer completely, it looks like water gear, to be fairly honest. So if you're missing out on water gear, they offer them in the treasure medals, and you could choose between what you want. Now it looks like they offer the gear at actually a really freaking cheap price. Like usual, they're only going to offer the scroll at 10k medals, which is kind of retarded, but the gear looks really freaking easy to obtain. That's really freaking awesome, to be fairly honest. So yeah, the gear isn't all too bad. You could actually obtain it maybe fairly quickly, to be fairly honest, depending on your luck. That's pretty much what I gotta say about this treasure spawn. This treasure spawn is a pay to win spawn though, so keep that in mind. You might be able to get some of this gear within your second spawn, to be fairly honest, if you get lucky enough to get like 900 per jackpot or something like that. But keep in mind, this is all by chance. This is all by chance. You could spawn this literally around 7 times before you even get one piece of gear. It could be anywhere between 7 to 2 tries to actually obtain just one of the gears for 1,900 medals, so keep that in mind. This is all by chance. I'm not telling you you could spawn this twice and then get something good. That's not going to be how it's going to work, and it's not guaranteed to happen. It can happen, but I'm not going to say it's like going to happen guaranteed like whatsoever, so keep that in mind when it comes to spawn. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and I hope this helped out, and I will see you in the next video. This is the AzureWrath. I'm out. Peace.